G'day viewers. Today I'm going to do a bit of reloading of the 223. Run out of cases. We're up to about, I think we're down to about 10 left. So it's time to reload about 100 cases. The 223, I've had a couple of rifles in 223. I've had a Remington 700, which was a great rifle. I've had a Seiko 75 Varmint, which was also a very, very good rifle. Probably one of the best rifles I've ever owned, and I sold that one about 2 years ago. And now I've got a CZ 600. The 223 in terms of fox shooting sort of fits into that middle band of cartridges, that workhorse cartridges that do pretty much everything you ask of them. Flat shooting out to 220, 230 yards, and you can take foxes a lot longer than that, obviously, with a little bit of holdover. But it does the job really well, if unspectacularly. So it's not particularly moving very fast. I mean, I get the most velocity I can out of these cases and projectiles, but it's not a 204, for example. It's not a 22-250, so it's not really capable of those laser flat shooting long range foxes. As I said, if you hold over, you can knock them off. But the 223 is one of those, I call it a workhorse cartridge, and it probably shoots 50% of our foxes per year, maybe more, because a lot of the foxes fall into that, in particular with thermal hunting, into that sort of 150 to 220 yard band, and that's where this one excels. And it's not as loud as a 204 or a 22-250 either, so it's doesn't startle the foxes as much. Today what we'll do is we will load up about 100. As I said, I'm just starting to I've got some unprimed cases. I'm just starting to prime them, starting to get everything set up. The powder I'm using is 2207, which is an ADI powder. Usually these powders have a Hodgdon equivalent. I don't know what it is, but that's really good for the 223, I find. And I use 24 grains of powder. That's just a load it's actually maximum load. I've worked that one up. I'm happy with that load. It's very accurate and shot a lot of foxes for us. The projectiles I'm using today are the 40 grain VMAX, which is kind of the go-to projectile that I use for 223. I will try at some point some of these. These are 35 grain NTXs. They do pop out of the barrel a bit faster than the 40s, although they have a slightly worse off ballistic coefficient. The load that I'm getting, or the load that I use, the velocity I'm getting is in the vicinity of 3,700 to 3,800 feet per second. And the reason I push these cases quite hard is, one, I get good accuracy out of them. I find with these smaller centerfires, if you push them hard, they'll give you good accuracy, and when you reduce the velocity, the accuracy drops off. I don't know if anyone else has had that problem, but I certainly have. The other thing is these frangible varmint bullets. I like pushing them hard because when they do hit a fox, they explode. And you've probably seen in some of the footage that we've got so far, they do a fair bit of damage and knock the fox down pretty quickly. The other thing is, when I'm shooting around cattle or sheep, I don't want that bullet to go anywhere. I don't want it to hit the ground and ricochet. I want it to, if I miss the fox, or if it goes through the fox, which is very unusual, I want that bullet to hit the ground and explode so it does not go any further. And these guys do that. In fact, I've had these guys explode on pieces of grass in front of the fox. Not so much these 40 grainers, but definitely the 32s out of the 204, and the 17 grain 20 grainers out of the, as I said, sorry, the 17 cal 20 grainers. But really reliable bullet, these ones. Really happy with them. I'll just quickly show you how we're priming. So I've got all the primers in my priming tool, and all I simply do is take the resized cases, put them in the top, give that one a squeeze, and there we have a prime case. I just make sure that it's flat on the bottom. Done. So I'll continue to prime all these unprimed cases, and when I start reloading and putting some powder in the cases and loading on the press with the new projectiles, I'll turn back on. Okay, so we're finished priming. We're starting to load the rounds. I've got the powder dispenser set up for 24 grains. I've been checking accuracy with the scale, and I've got a bit of a process line going on here. I grab the bullet and then I put the powder in, put the bullet in the top, and then make the round and stick the round back in here or over there. So let's take you through. Pretty simple. Let's just check that one to start with. Put that one back there. That'll automatically load. Looks good to me. Grab a prime case. Put the powder in. Grab a projectile. And projectile in the case. Job done. Well guys, I've just finished reloading. I've reloaded 100 223 cases, so that should get us a fair way through the season, hopefully. Some of you will already reload for this calibre. It's a very popular calibre, so feel free to drop me comments on your best loads or your most favoured loads for fox shooting or whatever other shooting you do. As always, please like, share, subscribe, and feel free to comment, as I said, and I'll get back to you. I will see you in the next video.